Boom.
Yes, Locky. How's it going, sir?
Great. It's always the weirdest bit, this acting like we ain't spoke before.
Acting like we haven't spoke for 15 minutes. You nicked my jokes. I was just about to say, it's like, do we talk about what we've just been speaking about, or do we just like move straight on? But I've got to ask you in front of other people how you are, or it just seems weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've just been watching football like a loser, not enjoying the sun.
Relentlessly, yeah. It's not like a loser though, but certainly relentlessly watching.
I can accept it's quite loser mentality.
It's not loser, man, is it?
But
not when you come up with the gems.
If I can do it now, my thinking is I could do it now, get it out way, and then you got it all for summer then, haven't you? So that's my thinking. So
yeah, you're getting
the weather were horrible, so I have an excuse to not go outside, but it's really nice.
Yeah, I know. It's because you said earlier you're waiting for summer, and my fear is this is the summer. Once we get to summer, it'll be absolutely khaki. We're like, well, my work's done now. I can get out.
Enjoy the rain.
Yeah.
It's mad though, isn't it? How like warm it's been. It's mad.
It's crazy warm. Yeah. I'm not complaining, like, because it's about time we had a bit of decent weather, to be fair.
Yeah, we deserve it.
But yeah, you're on with your scouting, are you, Locky, for the new season, potential players in and stuff? We don't need any sneak news now because it's to come, isn't it? But
yeah, I'm just doing my lists. I've done most attacking positions. I just need to decide now. I've got the list there. I just need to decide which are top ones, basically. Got to do left backs and right backs. Not doing goalkeepers because we don't, Trafford's the one in it. But you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm loving it, man. There's not to do. I might as well just get on with it, So, been enjoying it. Been doing that for the last 2 weeks. Joe's getting annoyed with me and Andrea because we're meant to be doing scout reports, but we keep saying he's going to have to wait because we ain't got all players we want yet. So, sorry, Joe, if you're watching.
It needs to be right, though, doesn't it, Locky, to be fair? And Joe wants it right because you could go in there and wing it a bit, but you want to be well-versed and, you know what you're doing with it. So, and when your last performance with Tanaka, I suppose it's like keen to get it right.
Can't get it wrong now. If I say one in it and get it wrong, you know what I mean? He's terrible.
You're only as good as your last performance, yeah.
That's it, to be fair. I'll just leave it at that. Done Tanaka
yeah, exactly. Now. If you sign out now, especially if Tanaka's good in Prem next year, it's just like, see ya.
Selling for 60 million. Did say.
Exactly, yeah. Just big cigar out, sat on beach. Yeah, but to be fair, even, forever you could be like, well, I found Tanaka. So what are you on about? What have you done? I'd be like, well,
when he wins Ballon d'Or.
yeah.
I've found him. So.
Well, I wonder if he knows. Have you seen them all in Japan? They've all gone to Japan. I don't know if they've all gone, but there's like Peru.
Yeah, a few.
Nonto's there, isn't he?
Schmidt's there as well, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, I thought they've all gone. Yeah, it's nice that all going. Tanaka said, come over here, enjoy a bit of my culture, and they've gone, go on then. They're obviously Peru likes his anime as well. He's a big anime fan, Peru.
Is he?
So, yeah. I think Schmidt is as well. So it might be something to do with that, because all anime is there in it. So good though. Good that they're all together bonding.
No, I honestly, when I saw it, I thought it would mint because obviously I know it sounds daft, but with Tanaka not speaking much English and that, and you know that they'll be mates, but sometimes I worry. I don't worry, but I do a little bit. I think like, how is he actually getting on? Because it is a crazy change for him and stuff. And then he's dumped in Leeds city centre, or wherever he lives. It must be a bit like, what is going on? I know he's lived in Germany and stuff, and it's not too much of a culture change, but he probably didn't even know where Leeds were. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so it's...
And he were the only one that didn't go to Vegas, I think, when so you kind of sitting there, is he all right? Is he left out? But no, he's all right. And they've all gone to him now, which is good. They all missed him.
Or is he getting moved on? Because that was my panic a bit. I thought, you never know. Because I wanted to ask you, to be honest, I'm going to ask you this last, Locky, but I'll ask you now. Do you think there'll be any, like, I'm not on about Tanaka, but I am on about Tanaka. I'm on about any of them. Do you think there'll be any surprise ones out? Like any sort of player that we think big?
I hope not. Is my take. I hope there isn't. Let me just say that. I hope not at all. I think they should all the main ones should definitely stay. But it's what Parag said, wasn't it, about we'll have to sell. But he said does that mean Harrison, people like that. Because I don't know. I've got a weird feeling about Joseph just because he fits that boring, annoying PSR stuff or whatever it is. He fits it perfectly because he's come through the academy or through the under 18s. So yeah, that one worries me a little bit, to be fair. I think ideally for me, he goes on loan, doesn't he? And he just needs to play. But selling him, it's one of them where you sell him and in 3 years could be lighting up in Europe and you're going, what a shame. But Tanaka's 50 million if you want him, at least 50 million.
Yeah.
What do you think? Maybe Nonto's always one that I don't know. It's something I don't know.
I think it's very similar to what I thought even at the start of the championship season, where I thought that they're all up for sale to some extent. Because ultimately, if 50, 60 million comes in for Tanaka, I think that it'd be, how can they say no to that? Do you know what I mean? You just have to go, well, and I think even as a fan, I'd have to go, well, I trust the 49ers to reinvest it well and stuff. It's not like they've not got it right. So they do need, and maybe then you don't lose other players that are maybe just squad players and you just take the hit on one, don't you? So it's.
And the thing is as well, mate, like as much as we love these, if you get a big bid or a decent bid for some players there that have not played in Premier League, knowing that they might not be good in Prem. Do you know what I mean? You can do, you do have to take it. You do. If you get even like a 40 million, 35, 40 million for a midfielder that's not played in Premier League before, that could fund a player that has played in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? You could get a player that is proven at that level or even played in a top league in Europe because Snacker hasn't done that, to be fair. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think with these 49ers, they know what they're doing. Everyone will have a price, 100%. And if teams match that price, they'll go, right. But then you trust them, don't you, to have a replacement? So
yeah, a bit of a contingency plan with it all. I just found it interesting just thinking about who could potentially leave because, like you said with Parag saying, and even Farker said, we need to now start thinking about who's out and who's in and who's coming in and stuff. And it's to say that sort of instantly. You're sorry, dude.
I said I'm sorry. I'm just going to get squad up. I'm not ignoring you.
No, you're all right. Yeah, you never know who's potentially, like you say with Nonto and stuff. He's always been a bit potentially moving on, hasn't he? And you probably get decent money for Nonto, and probably clubs around Europe would take him as well. So it's a weird one.
It's a tough one. And he was bought for cheap as well. There's always that. That's the thing though. Like with maybe a road on someone like that, you did bring him for 10 mil, so you're probably going to look for a little more just to make sure that margins are bigger. But with someone like Nonto, what was he, 4 or 5 million?
Yeah, it's
Tanaka was 5 million. Gruev is maybe one that was 4 or 5 million. Like if you can get double what you paid for him in a year of having them, that's good for your books. That, and I hate talking about good for your books and all this stuff, but that's football, isn't it? I'm afraid, you've got all these silly financial rules that are just a joke. But
well, yeah, and it's I think it's a shame for players really, because if you're probably say, I don't know, I've picked randomly, but Gruev say it would probably feature quite a bit next year in Prem. But if we have to meet some sort of he doesn't have to go. The club are totally fine with him being there, but they want to, they need to get other players in. It's like you're moving them on for, it's like a draft, isn't it? You're moving them on for sake. And then Gruev goes, well, I don't really want to go. The club don't really want to get rid of me. I'd probably play 10, 15 games next year. I'd be right happy with that, developing in Premier League, see how well I get on just for himself, settled in Leeds. And then he has to move. He has to go play in Germany or something, or whoever wants him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem good for anybody, really. I know they're trying to make it fair, but it doesn't seem fair either to me. So
yeah, I don't like it. It's like that for everyone, unless you're kind of right at the top. Because like even Archie Gray, obviously, when we sold him, I think that was it. He didn't really want to go. The club didn't really want to sell him, but kind of had to because it's all pure profit, which we all know, obviously, with the losses and all that stuff, we had to do, which is a shame. And even with someone like Harry Gray, if he had a good year next year in Premier League, and we stay up, you're probably gonna have to sell him next year just for PSR. Do you know what I mean? Like that's if you get like 15, 20 million or 30 million for him, you're probably gonna have to sell him. Same with Joseph. Even someone like Strauch, who obviously, because we brought him in for nothing really, and he's come through academy, so all that's pure profit. It's annoying that you have to work like that, really, but.
And and it sort of it stops that, everybody bangs on about clubs staying close to home and keeping players from start to finish and stuff, and how that's gone out of football. They're kind of forcing that out of football with the ruling, aren't they? Like saying Strout would be 100% profit, wouldn't he? So that'd be, like saying in a few years, it's like you've got to go now, and it potentially spends his whole career with us. So it's
they're the ones I'm worried about, Jack. The ones that came through 21s. That would be pure profit. So Strauch, Joseph, not Nonto, but he was cheap. Nonto did actually play for 21s for a month or so before I actually joined. But those are probably the three, to be fair, that I'm a little worried about. Obviously, not talking about some of the older ones that will probably move on, but those are the ones for me that I'm a bit, It's one of them. Like you said, I'm not selling him. If I had a choice, I wouldn't. I'd send him on loan. I think you can get a good loan, like higher end championship loan for him. It'd be mint. Where he's the man, he's the starter, and even if he's not playing well, he's the man where he's got to play through that form. I think that'd be a great loan for him. But someone like a Middlesbrough, somewhere like that, I think it'd be quality. But if we have to sell him, I mean, it's the way it is, isn't it? Unfortunately, hopefully we don't. Hopefully.
Where do you think Joseph goes, Locky?
If we sold him on loan.
If we sold him.
Yeah, I think it'd be Spain.
I don't think he'd drop down in English football.
No, I think it'd be a decent Spanish side, and obviously he's linked with Betis. Somewhere around that, Real Sociedad, somewhere like that. Espanyol, the club he was at, when he was younger before he came to Leeds, maybe there again, go back there. Whether they can afford that, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it'd be something like that. I think he'd do decent. Take 2 or 3 years to really establish himself. And if it was loaning, it'd be mint championship loan. I think really build his physicality and competitiveness. It's a hard word to say, that, competitiveness. But it's sad that when you get promoted that you have to worry about selling players. Like, what's all that about? Why is that? That's ridiculous, isn't it? It should be not thinking about that remotely. You should be thinking about bringing whoever we can in, not selling people.
Yeah, like we've said, because I'd be totally happy for Rothwell and Solomon to be. I mean, Solomon anyway. To be fair, I'd bring Solomon back in if I could. But I'd have been happy to get Rothwell in, and have what we have, and then build around it, and just have, because we've got a short squad anyway, and we're already discussing more going out. I mean, some of them just won't get any minutes. I do understand there's also no point sort of having them around the place because, players that have been loaned out previously and stuff. But I suppose it's nature at beast making the step up. We're going to lose players, aren't we? But it's nature at beast.
That's the way it is, mate. But yeah, it's just the ones that you'd want to keep. I just find it weird that when you go up, the players you'd like to keep, your young talents that might be worth a bit of money in a few years, you have to sell. It just sits wrong with me. Why is that? How's that happen? You're going to a league where it's going to be so hard anyway. You shouldn't have to sell players. I find it silly, but anyway.
Yeah, there's Ripper just said there, Mez Joffix. I forgot because obviously Gelda is Greenwood. Was that on loan? Greenwood.
Yeah, loan. Yeah. They had I think they had a buy option, but they didn't trigger it.
Have they not?
Potentially.
So Green would be on his way back potentially then.
I think
for them free kicks. Get him on free kicks.
He's one of them, and he's probably minute him at training. He probably absolutely bangs him in at training.
Well, he was under 21s, wasn't he? Every time I saw him, he was just doing wherever he wanted.
But when there's pressure and you've got a crowd around you, you're not thinking same as those games or training. So yeah, and he'll do all right in Championship. Will Greenwood? He'll have a decent career.
Yeah, I like Greenwood. He's actually had some decent moments for us as well. I remember a couple of decent goals in Prem for us. To be fair, he's not. It's not a knock on him. It's just I think the set piece specialist thing did him no favors. I think just when you're playing in Prem, really you're going to get two, particularly for a shit team, and ultimately we was shit at the time in the Prem. You're going to get two, aren't you, at best a game, and you'd be really lucky for them to be in your spots. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're in under 21s and you're dominating, he were probably getting about 8, and then twice a month he puts one in top bin, and then that's the highlights of the month. Do you know what I mean? You go, he is a beast, but he's probably taken 20. So it's it's a tricky one. Like Ian Hart, Ian Hart's free kick. He had a better. I used to always bang on about this, but he had a better ratio than Beckham did. Hart for goals scored from free kicks. Yeah, his ratio were better. But he had all different types of free kicks. Hart could like leather them or just put them in. He were awesome on set pieces.
Yeah, it's all techniques, didn't it? I didn't watch him, but I remember seeing loads of highlights. And my dad used to tell me about Harty. How he just hits him. He just hits him. He just hit him, Ben.
He could anywhere. Or really educated, clip him in, top bin, or welly him in. It was ace. He had them all. But then he was always on pens. And I understood why he was on pens, but I don't think he was very good at pens. It's a very different thing, isn't it? So
we miss in this team, we miss a lot. I say we miss a lot, in terms of when we go up, we need to buy some players, but we miss a set piece king. Someone that can score from direct set pieces.
Yeah.
We ain't had that since Pab.
No.
I remember it's just
there's no better than it either.
Nah.
When somebody's firing.
Were you like me? Whenever we had ball, we want a free kick at edge at box. Whatever. I want a free kick at edge at box. I want to go, okay. Could be a goal here. I remember when Pab used to, even Calvin used to step up sometimes.
Yeah.
But when Pab got that free kick at edge at box, you knew at least a lot of them were going to be on target. Whereas I genuinely, mate, I think that they all hit the wall. I think we got one on target from Rothwell this year, which is straight at keeper. They're all bad. Like Gruev scored his playoffs last year, didn't he? But that was bad goalkeeping and just quick.
I was going to say that were a weird one, wasn't it? That were like a
very weird. Yeah, that was what it went in. I was outside of it as well because I were by where away fans are at bottom there where they couldn't sell out. So I got a right view of it. Made no sense, honestly. But we don't have one, do we? We don't have some guy that can just knock one into the
it's
corner.
surprising, really, as well. In the group of, I know there's only 11 on the pitch at a time. In a group of 20 of them, you'd think there'd be one that is mint at them because most teams have got someone that you're back. You don't have to go to like Ward Prowse levels of like think, oh, this is just basically a penalty at this point. But you want summit, don't you? Rothwell a bit disappointed on free kicks, but we didn't really win many round edge at box. Thinking about it last year, I can't think of many where it's like goal scoring free kick opportunities. There'll have obviously been a few, but
there weren't loads. No,
most of his free kicks are sort of like in that wide area, right? They're like, yeah.
That's it. But next year, we're bringing a big lad who can win fouls up there. We need a set piece specialist, 100%. Because it's in Premier, you know, obviously, like that goal that you could score 3 goals from a set piece a season, from like a free kick, and that could be 6 points, could be 3 points, it could be 2 draws. Do you know what I mean? And they're important end of year. That's it. That's the biggest thing next year, isn't it? This year we were counting how many points we dropped. We can't lose a point. Whereas next year, it's just trying to get to 40 or whatever it is, which is a completely different feeling. It could be weird. It's going to be really weird next year.
Which we'll have done in 15 games, to be fair, Lucky. So don't fear. I think you can do that. I don't check my maths out on that, actually. That should be enough. I think 45 is it. Regardless, don't worry about my maths.
We'll do it,
We'll be there.
No doubt.
But set pieces is huge. Like, even in top teams, we spoke about this the other week, but top teams are doing it. Like Arsenal have ground loads of results out from set pieces and stuff. And you don't want to get done on them either. And I think if you're practicing scoring them, the defenders are by definition practicing defending them, aren't they? I know that sounds silly, but against a decent delivery, because the same way we can't defend them, if we can't attack them, it's like, well, what are we doing on the training field? It's a pointless exercise because the defenders are just going, well, nobody can deliver a ball. You can only assume in training, though, they are whipping them in.
Yeah. Well, I use this example a lot. When I was at uni, team I was part of, uni team, we were bad at set. Like, everyone was short. Honestly, everyone was so short. It was a thing. Every game we played, our centre-backs, mate, honestly, none of them were above 6 foot. They were tiny. Is he a big lad? But like everyone in our team was so small. So for set pieces, for corners, we literally just pile everyone on keeper. Just everyone just run at keeper and just hit it in that area and just do something. Like there's a point where you can work on them, but if they're taller than you, you're not going to win headers. So just hit it into an area, get literally everyone you can in that area, and just hope something happens. But that is a worry for me. That's one of the biggest things for me, set pieces next year, because we work great attacking them away.
No,
and it's going to be even harder next year with better defenders. So we need some
that are really set up.
Yeah.
And that have been at it as well for past few years, with it, because it's a huge part of the game that I do think. I mean, Big Ange. I want to talk about Big Ange in a minute, but he neglected him, didn't he? And he were like, I'm going to get your thoughts on Big Ange in a minute, but he enjoyed saying that he's not bothered about him, and I just thought, well, you're missing a bit of a trick there, But
Bielsa as well. I remember Bielsa saying we don't practice them.
Yeah,
what?
I know it's a wild thing to say, no doubt about that. But yes, Locky, I want to discuss Man United for the first time ever on my channel, I think, other than, because it's obviously a joyous time to be somebody that doesn't like Man United. I presume you don't like Man United very much.
Well, no, of course not. So the context being, I grew up in West Yorkshire. Me and my dad are Leeds fans. Everyone else I know is either a Huddersfield fan or a Man United fan. I mean, when I grew up, I knew a few more Leeds fans now. I've got some mates, but shut up. Who's this guy? I think he is. But
grew up in West Yorkshire is putting you off. He does it to me.
No, I'm going to say something, but I've forgotten the reference. Joey Boy. That's what I was thinking of. Joey Boy in our chat. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, but it's like, and I think Joe mentioned it on one of his videos the other day, like everyone I knew was Man United fan. My mum, my sister, her family, my little brother, who I've texted, by the way, said at least you didn't get relegated, and he's not replied to me, so you can have that. Little shit house. But yeah, everyone, mate, everyone at school, like it's long. When you live in Yorkshire and everyone supports the Lancashire team, it's mental. But everyone did. So this is for all them years of piss taking that got took out of me when I was growing up, and I'm just sitting here smiling, and there's nothing better. There's nothing better, and I'm just waiting for my brother to reply to me. To be fair, which is crazy, by the way, because my brother was a Leeds fan and he changed. How sickening is that? He was brought up right, and he changed when he was like when he started playing football. My dad bought him a Leeds kit, one with Strongbow on when he was young. He used to wear it. And the second he started playing, his mates were Man United fans, so he changed. Absolutely sickening.
I couldn't think of anything. I'm so glad. I remember if I'm brutally, totally honest, when I was tiny, like real tot, I liked Liverpool. Like I liked Fowler and I liked Berger and stuff. I liked not the meat, the actual player. And I used to like wind my brother up about it, and he just drilled it out of me. But I must have been about, I don't know, well, whenever they play, must have been 5 or 6, just like, no, but I like Fowler and stuff. And then ended up actually, obviously, then I became completely Leeds, like, I wouldn't have it any other way. And then we signed Fowler like 10 years later, and I was like, it's like it's all come home to roost. I couldn't believe it. Or like, this was written in the stars.
Mate, I'm not afraid to admit this, I don't even care. People can. I had 3 England shirts growing up. On the back, I had Owen. Oh, I can hear myself.
Can you?
Yeah. Anyway, I'll try this. I had Owen. I think we're good now. Yeah, Michael Owen, David Beckham, and Wayne Rooney.
I couldn't do Beckham. That's one that I'll struggle with that one a bit.
Because he was a winger, and he liked it, technique. And growing up, that's what I like our winger. I know that's sickening, isn't it? But I also had it's the way it is. Before I was a Leeds fan, which by the way was a horrid time because I started supporting Leeds properly when they were in League One. So my idols are Max Gradle and Rudolph Austin. So big up them guys. But before, it was like England for me. When I first went to football, it was during Euros, for England. So I just loved England. I get all England kits. And I didn't know who they played for. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know Rooney was a Man United player. I like him. I like that. Who's that guy with cool hair? Oh, that's David Beckham. Right, I'll have him. Do you know what I mean? It was like that. But yeah, once I got to about 12, 13, there were none of that anymore. No names on backs. But yeah. That's it. It's what you do. It's you don't think of it when you're that young as a rivalry like that, do you? You just know you don't support them and you don't like them. But
Well,
once,
I don't think Joel had been that young though. That's the thing when he's getting
actually,
John
to be
Terry.
fair, late 20s there, Joe. You need to sort that out, mate.
It might just be his number though, number 6. He might just be going in on 6, but still no excuse for that.
Yeah, but because when I started supporting Leeds, it was the first. We had 1 year in Europe. It was the first time I went. It was that year, and then year after is when it went downhill.
Yeah, the Champions League.
That's when I started supporting. But I don't really remember that. What I remember was going in League One. So growing up, literally in League One, losing to Swindon, stuff like that, it's just all grim. But I loved it, and that's why I love this club, and that's why I love Leeds, because I didn't support them for winning or trophies. I supported them because it was mint. Going to Ellen Road, I used to go every week when I could. You know, me and my dad get a lift up there, go to Ellen Road, get battered. Went on pitch at Bristol though when we beat Bristol. Best feeling of my life. So good. And then so we're back in Prem. But all them times, you know, Man United they'd always win. They'd always be good. So I was suffering for so long. It was horrible. Coming home every single week and, you know, getting texts off my uncles and stuff who were laughing at me, taking piss at me. Oh, my Leeds did well today and all this stuff. And then we beat him in FA Cup, and that was a very strange day in our house. We had one room with one team, and one room with other. Yeah. Anyway, I just blathering now, but
no, it's bang on. Yeah, there's a long history with the club, isn't there? That's why it's mint, you know, and it is close to home, isn't it? Because it, you know, like say, I know loads of Man U fans. It's mad, and it, you know,
crazy.
and they do. I can't help but think that they're not really fans. There's something about Man U fans that I just think, you know, when they see all the plastics and stuff, but they kind of are and they act like they are. It's not like, you know, even if some of my random mates support Arsenal and stuff, and I think you support Arsenal more than this lad that says he supported Man U his whole life. They're just, when they, in the glory years particularly, they used to just jump in on it as though, like, you know, because they were unbeatable to some extent, to be fair. It was very rare that anybody went for them.
Well, that's it. Having lived in Manchester for 4 years now, I can categorically tell you this, right? Most people from Manchester, in and around the city, support City. But obviously, Salford now, where I'm near, that's where mainly Manchester fans are, because it's Salford, right? That's where it was originally, I believe, or somewhere around that Trafford. So a lot of the actual people in the city centre are Man City fans. But then obviously, when I went to uni, a lot of the students that came up from London, almost all of them were Man United fans. Which is
it's not a Manchester thing, definitely. Man City is the original Manchester, isn't it? Because that was the first club.
Yeah.
Man United. The irony is what I always used to make myself laugh with Man United. They shouldn't be allowed to be called Man United. It's not a United city, is it? Like ours is Leeds United. It's United. The city's completely united. Man United came after the city of Manchester. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. So.
And as well, Jack, what I did want to say, last year when I did my awards night for my university for football teams, 4 times, so the guy who the host is a Man United fan, 4 times he started a chant, Leeds are falling apart. 4 times.
Yeah.
Not rivals, Jack. Crazy. I was just sat there. I'm like, what is going on? 4 times. Crazy.
They're just as obsessed with us as anybody else. You know, they bang on as though they're not. They play it off a little bit when it's going decent for them, but really, that's why we're a big club, and that's why you've got to take the rough with smooth a little bit because it's fun.
We are. We're a huge club. We've not been successful. We've had terrible owners in the last so many years up until now, and obviously a good period under Radzani until he couldn't afford out anymore. But yeah, like it's just good that we're back up there now. I can't wait, man. I keep saying this. The potential of this club is insane. It really is. I was showing my girlfriend earlier. We're going through our Premier League tables from last 15, 20 years. Leeds 4th, 5th, 4th, 6th. And she was going, what? Where are Man City? And I was saying, they're not there. 2007, they're nowhere near it, mate. So I was going, hey, we were there before them.
Yeah,
We'll be back.
It's a madness. What? How bad do you think it can and is going for Man United now? Genuinely, like, because I've gone a bit over the top, and I've really enjoyed the fact that they've had a horrendous season, and obviously they're not in Europe. Yeah. And I just don't think PSR will catch up on them as much as some people are sort of making out online. And do you know what I mean? I think that they generate a lot of money, and they'll be. I know they spend loads, and they're still terrible. But I think they'll probably just be decent next year. I think they'll struggle to get back into top 6 next year, but they'll be decent, won't they?
Yeah. I think they'll be all right. They'll be nowhere near bottom. Nowhere near. I think it's, I thought of this a different way. People were laughing at the fact that they're not in Europe, so they're not going to be able to sign the best players. But for me, that means that maybe they'll come into they'll target players that maybe we're targeting, like Premier League players, which worries me a little bit. Because if we like a player and then they're not in Europe, so they'll be looking at a similar market. That worries me a little bit, but that's just my brain. That's how it works. It's always a negative side of it. But do you know what I mean, though?
But that might mean that they end up getting it right. Because whatever on earth they're doing at the moment, going out and getting all rejects, or not rejects, that's an outrageous thing to say about somebody as mint as Casemiro. But, I think that is, I do not even mean that. I know he plays for Man United, but he's not a reject, Casemiro. But he's definitely on the wrong end, isn't he? He shouldn't be going to Man United, or he certainly wouldn't have been in the 2000s. Do you know what I mean? Like when they were decent. So they are dragging players in, and then they're spending a lot of money on Højlund, and Di Maria didn't work, and Di Maria went on again and played well elsewhere and stuff. They're killing players at the moment, aren't they? And they're top players, some of these. So I wonder whether they'll just actually end up benefiting from going out and getting just some decent players, really.
Maybe they will, and that's it. It's this idea that when they sign a player who's not really known, all the fan base are like, oh, who's this? He's not known. He hasn't played in Champions League. They're not always the players you need. Sometimes you need players that are looking for that. And I think that is what they'll do. If they're not willing, if they can't spend a lot, I don't know, they'll probably still spend millions, let's be honest. So they'll find a way, nothing will happen, and they'll do it. We know how that works. But it's just, look, I don't know. If they get it right, obviously they'll be fine. But you know what it's done, though, just a little bit? It's given me confidence that in those games where we do play them, we'll be a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
Last time we got battered, didn't we? I know we got a draw, didn't we? But the other 3, I think we got absolutely battered. First game at season, who remembers that? But now at Ellen Road, if they're rebuilding, we can make some of this. Get them proper rivalries back where we're actually competitive. That's what I want.
I think we can have a go at them, but I'm hoping we can have a go at everybody, obviously, and that's an obvious thing to say. But do you rate Amorim? Genuinely, because there's this I want to talk about while Joe's potentially still in here. I want to talk about Big Ange because he's his number one fan. But I also found out that Joe loves Amorim as well for some reason. They're his 2 favourite ever managers. I'm being slightly hyperbolic, but what do you think to what do you think to Amorim first, Locky?
Do you know what? I'm going to be 100% honest, Jack. I did a video when we sacked Jesse Marsh, and he was one of my replacements to bring in.
Right.
He did really well in Portugal. He's really good. I know he had the best team, but he was consistently good. So I actually did. I actually, this is the weird thing. You got these good managers, but this is it. He was very successful in one team, in one division. For me, and this is what a lot of good managers have been linked with Leeds in the past few months. We're talking, Will Still's been mentioned. There's a few others in there. But my issue is they've only done well in one league. And then you're wanting them to come into a relegation fight. Or, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jack?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be one of the least strongest teams in terms of value and all that stuff. So it's going to be hard. But you're asking them to come into that. For me, people need to realise the level of the Premier League. Look, you can do really well in Portugal, even in Europe. But that's nothing compared to this league. You need proof in many leagues, high leagues, that you can do it. So I think that's kind of what, I think it's the experience side of it. Because he's a young manager and he's done really well, but at one club. And that club was a really good club in that country. So it's always hard to can figure out who's the right person for the job. So that's why I'm not rushing. On all these. I like a lot of managers in Europe. There's a lot of managers out there that I really like, but are they right for us? Probably not. Probably not. Because experience is massive in this league, and even with managers, it's exactly the same. We've seen it with Ange, and this is the greatest point. Like, they're 16th and 17th in the Premier League, and they're in the European final. If that doesn't show the difference between the Premier League and the Euros, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a huge step for any manager. And for me, whoever gets sacked in the Prem, I think you've got to go for an experienced coach who's done well in more than one club in Europe, I think.
Yeah, so my thing is, so I don't know enough about Amorim. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not judging. I'm only judging him on what I've seen Man U do in recent times. And then on that basis, my point with it, Locky, is like, I don't understand why certain Big Ange and Amorim just seem to get this pass. And it's because Amorim keeps coming out and saying, like, oh, this club's a joke, and all Man U fans are up for that for some reason. But ultimately, Ten Hag was abused and made to look silly and got made to look silly in press. And he found his way out at door. Amorim, I'm not. Don't quote me on this. I can't remember the exact stat. It was only on Twitter. It might be a load of woof. But they've got like 9 points in 5 months or something. That's like astonishing behaviour for any Man United manager. It's like, I don't care who it is, how good the manager actually is. They've come out today and literally like backed him and said, we got promoted. We got promoted with a manager that got 190 odd points or whatever it is over 2 seasons. And there was people saying that he has to be moved on and we have to get someone else in. Amorim has got 9 points in 5 months or whatever it is. It's something as bad as that. And then the chairman's coming out and saying, yeah, we're sticking with him. I can't find a single Man United video, when they're interviewing people, at fans and that. They all love him. I don't... Why?
Yeah, this is a thing.
I know he might be decent. I'm not even saying he's not. I'm sure he is,
but you can be a decent manager and not be ready for the Prem. It's like any player. It's the same thing. You can be an outstanding. There's so many players that tore it up in Europe, come to the Premier League, flopped. It's such a high level. The pressure is insane every single week. And this is it. This is the point. Like, football's weird these days, where fans attach more to a personality and a look and an idea. He plays this really nice football. He knows what he's doing. He needs the players. But there's got to be a line where a manager does need the players he needs. But even if he's not got the ideal players, you should still be able to do something with.
That's what I'm saying.
You're a manager, you're a coach. That's what your job is. You shouldn't be how many points in 5 months is a joke. You should not be anywhere near that with the squad you've got. He's absolutely underperforming and underachieving what he should be doing, 100%. And it's weird because you look at he is pretty cool, to be fair. But you look at Ten Hag, right? Obviously, he won FA Cup and that, again, a cup competition. But looking at the league, not great. But compared to Amorim, outstanding. I think Joe, I'll give him credit. He did something earlier on one of his videos saying there were 4 points off the top 4 when he sacked him. And now he's linked with Bayer Leverkusen. So it's even company. He's an example that people use. Did terrible in the Premier League, and then got Bayern Munich job. People and managers and kind of ownership are obsessed with style and look and the next big thing, a style of play. And that's why I kind of like what we did with Farke. We didn't go down that road of we could get this young hipster, cool manager with these cool ideas. In the future, maybe we can. But for me, we need to establish and we need to use what we've got, the momentum we've got with this team, these players, this manager, and carry that. That's what. So it's. I love the conversation about do you go style over results, or it's interesting because football's like that now. It's a lot about individuals as opposed to this manager's cool, get him in. People say stuff like Sean Dyche or Moyes. Moyes has been more successful than Amorim in the Prem. Way more. Do you know what I mean? These guys might not be the sexy names. They're established Premier League managers, and you can't take away from that, in my opinion. I think that's what I think we need to become.
if you had to say, so like with Big Ange, everybody's favourite Big Ange, and Amorim, do you think Farke's a better manager than them two? I know that's a hard comparison to make.
So in terms of, I think with Ange, what Ange did really well, he was successful in a lot of places, but the leagues he was successful in were not big leagues. I think he did well in Japan, Celtic, a few others as well. I think Ange is a good manager in the sense that he's very good at winning things. He does do that, but what he's found in the Premier League is everyone's a little better than what I was against before. You know, there's a lot more money in this. Every player's better. Every manager's a higher level. The intensity is more. So this is where a good coach comes into it. How can you adapt, right? In Europe, it's different because you're playing European teams, completely different. You could play Wolves in the Premier League, who have not a great team, and they could batter you. This is it. This is the Premier League. Anyone in there can batter anyone on their day. Look at the teams Man City have lost to this season. All them players. So it's quite difficult to. I think what Farke has done really well in this Leeds side, he's done. You can't argue what he's done with Leeds is better than what Amorim's done with Man United. It's comparative, of course, but what he's done, he's got a bunch of players, talented players. Everyone's mates. No one's fallen out. There's been no problems behind the scenes. Everyone wants to win. The feeling around the club's good. We're playing good football. We're creating chances. We're not conceding goals. That's how you win football. And that's what he's done. So, but Ange is different because it's hard to thing him because he has just won the Europa League. Yeah. So it's quite hard to say, Farke has done better because he's won the Europa League. But I think we'll see next year. We'll see next year because if we can get anywhere near the points they've got with our squad compared to their squad, you've got to look at it. You've got to look at it like that for me. So I don't know. I've kind of beaten around it. What do you think?
No, it's really difficult, Locky. If he hadn't won the competition this year, I'd have to be like
crazy.
I don't think there's much argument for it. I just think Farke has been a bit more unlucky. I think everywhere Ange has been, I think Farke can go and do what Ange has done. Do you know what I mean? So, and if you can't tell me if Farke went to Celtic that they win everything, So, and then he's won stuff at Leeds, won Championship, won stuff at Norwich. He's going to go into Prem. If he can cement us in the Prem 14th, 15th next year, that is, I think it'd be more of a gamble with Big Ange doing it with our side.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's what you need for that time. I think what we need next year is continuity. I think that's massive. And the best, look at our first season under Bielsa. We didn't change much. We brought players in. Our core squad was very similar, wasn't it? We had a few gold in there, with Rafinha. But our main squad was there. It was just continuity. We carried that momentum. And everyone believed in what the manager wanted to do. Now, we saw, a few years went on, the players got older. We didn't bring in more, so the system didn't work. But for me, you got to go in next year with bringing some quality, some experience. But a lot of that squad has a point to prove. I think what we saw with Ipswich this year was interesting because they lost, but they're actually quite competitive in a lot of games. They took the lead a lot. I can't remember how many times, but they took the lead more than anyone, I believe. And they lost it most times. So they're missing experience. That's where experience comes into it. If we can be in that position where we take the lead early on and we've got experienced players that Ipswich don't have, we'll get points. So you just need that for me. You need experience and some quality players in there. And I think we can stay up. I'm not buying this closed shop stuff. I don't believe in it. Look who's won the cups this year, Jack.
And with how Tottenham and Scum have got on in the Europa, it's like Crystal Palace will have a decent. If they keep their players and they get a bit of a better couple of signings in, they'll have a decent crack at that competition. I'm not saying they'll be able to win it, but in terms of we're in the Premier League strong, and I know I keep saying this to you, but I really mean it. Once you get out of the relegation battle, you're in a whole different league. It's like from 15th to 10th is its own little league. You're nowhere near relegation. Like how bad Tottenham and Man United have been. I'm not bothered about people are skewing it because it's Tottenham and Man United and making that out as though that's the standard. That's not the standard. They've been terrible. Tottenham have lost 20 games. You can't lose 20 games of football and finish 8th. You just cannot. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. I don't care how good Tottenham should be or aren't. If you lose 20 games of football, you're going to be near the bottom of the league, aren't you? If we're not in competition with these teams directly like that. We just have to focus on ourselves, not lose 20 games of football, and we'll be all right. We'll stay up. And then everybody will be like, oh, yeah, proper decent season we've had. I'm just not worried about it. Certainly not before I see first 10 games. Because obviously I'm not naive enough to know it can get bad quick and it can look horrendous. But, this
is it for me, Jack. Like, I understand there's a lot of these managers that people are going, oh, we should go for this. I understand that they're good managers, but we need to solidify ourselves in this league before we can think about pushing up for Europe. If Farke's that guy, let's be honest, we don't know. I think that's maybe, even he said, to be fair to him, he wants to make Leeds a consistent team in Prem. Yeah. That's all he said. He didn't say he wants to get us into Europe. I think he maybe knows if he can solidify us in Prem, he's done his job. And if he can do that, fair play, unbelievable job, yeah. So then that's when you can look, right, what's next? Who can we bring in? Who's doing well in Europe? Which these young managers, with these, that have done well, who can we get in then? Same for players. Which young players, talents can we get in Europe? But the first thing and the most important thing for me is maintaining what we've got, adding to it, and just fighting for this first season. And we'll win. Look, if this, we know what this club's like. Like, forget Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, respectfully, right? When our club gets behind these players at Ellen Road, we can win a handful of games or more there easily. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to keep that connection for me. And at the moment, because we won the league on 100 points, we have that, and I don't want that to go away. So I don't think we should be throwing that away at all.
No, I don't think we'll lose steam either as a fan base, to be honest, Locky. I know it'll get if we have a rough patch. I know people will start pissing and whinging, but I do believe in the ground. I just think there's no getting away from it when it's like Chelsea, Man U, and then your lower teams like Crystal Palace turning up. Whoever's at Ellen Road, it's like brand new again to us, isn't it? And it's like the crowd will just bang up for it. 'Cause it's like, don't matter about what happened last week or week before or whatever. It's like, these games are massive. They're all like huge, important games. It's going to be so much fun in ground. I just don't think we'll be moaning and groaning, like, because the level of expectation will be slightly different. It'll be like, let's get some wins. Do you know what I mean?
And that's it, mate. Because people every week, people still slagging Farcroft. He can't even have a summer without it. It's insane. He's not even done out in months. He's just chilling. And he's getting slagged off still. He's here, deal with it, accept it, whatever. You know what I mean? Deal with it. But you are right. That feeling is everything. I think when first year when we finished 9th under Bielsa, even in the bad times, we still had that feeling that we can beat these today, no matter who it was. We lost that, didn't we? In that final season, every game was, do we have to? Because I think, obviously, the connection with the manager weren't there. The connection with the players weren't there. But now we've had a promotion with these guys. I think there'll be a big connection with them. We went through that with these players. And look, if we can, I know you're probably, to be fair, Jack, you're probably the most kind of ambitious in terms of where you think we can finish. Most people are genuinely saying if we stay up, it's a miracle. Whereas you think we could, maybe go 14th, 13th kind of thing. So you'll be the first one, won't you, when we're saying Fark out when we're at the bottom?
Well, yeah, because I think, honestly, look, I know everybody thinks I'm in cloud cuckoo land to quote a Roy Keane thing and just going, I can't see it. But there's I don't think it's a dangerous thing to say. I don't think it's like a wild thing to be saying that we can just, and I know I keep repeating the same thing, but we're not in it doesn't matter that Tottenham and Man United have finished just above the relegation battle. They've lost 20 games. Next year, there'll be other teams that lose 20 games. I don't care who they are. I don't care what squad they've got. Or if they're losing 20 games, we'll go and beat them. When Tottenham were terrible, when we was up, they'd gone through that really bad patch and we beat them. Must be the year before. I think that were in the decent year when we were decent. You could argue, if we overachieved and they underachieved, who cares? It doesn't matter who's underachieving or overachieving. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of players will get picked at, like George just put Cunha leaving Wolves. There's going to be a lot of players moved about. There'll be players that don't hit the ground running. Notts Forest will be poor next year. I honestly do believe that. I'm not saying they'll be getting relegated or in the battle or whatever, but the league will look dramatically different next year.
Yeah.
Players are getting older. Players are out of contract. Teams are going to lose loads of players. I'm just not worried.
I'm just getting table at one sec. This Premier League is so skewed, by the way. I was having a look at it. It's insane. I'm just getting up. Sorry, that's what I'm looking over here. Like the winners are on 83 points. Second place is 71. Second.
Yeah.
Like, and then you look at Man City. Yeah, Man City are on 68. And then obviously Tottenham and Man United are 16th and 17th. Next year they'll all be up. I've got a feeling the top six, the original top six, will all be up there. They'll all be on more points, which means them lower teams will have less. Which means
that's what we want.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of want the good teams to be out of the way.
Yeah, we do.
So them lower teams are in it a bit more because they're not this year. You look at Wolves, Everton 45, 52 for Palace, 53 for Bournemouth. Next year they won't be as high. There will be teams. I don't know who they'll be, but there will be teams that are, I reckon, lower than that. And like Joe mentioned a lot as well, they're in Europe. A lot of them 10 are in Europe. Yeah. That's a lot of extra games. There's opportunity next year for me if we get recruitment right. 100% opportunity. We've got to win what 7 or 8 draws.
And if you can't do that, Locky, what is the point? What's the point in being in there? Might as well just try and be a decent championship team for as long as we can. No, that's not what would happen. That's not the reality. But if we can't win 8 games, it's like
no, people can't tell me we're not capable of winning 6 or 7 at Ellen Road next year and then getting a few away. 100% we are. 100%. What I will say though, and obviously recruitment is massive for me.
Yeah.
Say we're coming into August and I'm not happy with it, my confidence might go down a little bit. And then the players are a bit, what's going on here? But if look, these guys have got it right, haven't they? Most of the time, the players. So I'm backing them to do it. I'm excited, man. Honestly, if we can, I know you think we can finish high, but even if at minimum we can finish 17th, whatever it is, stay in the league. If we're in the league, and look, I'm kind of in between. I think we can, but I'm just not sure yet. In a few weeks or maybe a few months, when I've seen the team a bit more, I'll be a bit more. Yeah, we can stay up, but just stay in this league, and I'm just convinced if we stay in this year, maybe next year, just a few places higher with this ownership. I know people have a problem with this ownership, and I do at times, but they're not huge problems, just little nags. You're telling me that these guys are not going to look at Europe and go, I'm going to be part of that. 100%. 100%. Look, if Brighton can do it, Brentford can do it, Fulham can maybe do it, Crystal Palace can do it, Nottingham Forest can do it, why on earth can't Leeds? It's not a closed shop. Maybe to get in Champions League for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Maybe it is. I don't care about that. I just want to see Leeds in Europe, mate.
Yeah, I do. I don't care what I want to be. Obviously, a Premier League team that does well every year, and like you say, gets into Europe. I don't care what Europe's changed now, hasn't it? It's just something you've sort of like got to accept. Probably never going to win the league in my lifetime, but we don't have to. If you can have a few events, if we can win an FA Cup final in the next 7 years and get into Europe in the next 7 years and have a really good run, that's all I care about. I just want to live. I want Leeds to be the best we can be. Do you know what I mean? I don't. Yeah. If we can't win the league, we can't win the league. I don't care. But if we're that team that just goes, we've got Leeds this week, tough game. They're going to finish. Yeah. They're going to finish about 9th. I'm talking in a few seasons' time. Where you just think, and we can sustain it, and we can have a crazy year, and maybe get recruitment right, unbelievably right one year, and then go on a ridiculous run. The other thing as well, Locky, with teams getting dragged into it, there'll be teams that have gone into Europe this year, like Crystal Palace and stuff, that'll probably try to keep the players, probably go out. They'll do one or two things. They'll either think we'll just ride it out and see how we get on, or they might be overly ambitious. Teams like Forest might go, let's go for it a little bit. Yeah. And that can either go amazingly well, or it has the complete flip opposite results done it. And they end up actually dogger, and which is basically what happened to us years ago. We went for it, and then it didn't quite work, and then it collapses. It's like you're better off just sort of doing a Brentford thing, and just staying in and around there, and like never really going for it, and do you know what I mean, and retaining your squad type of thing.
And honestly, mate, like I know people say Brentford and Fulham kind of are boring, but if we're there, it won't be boring because
No, we won't.
our stadium is immense. Our atmosphere every week could be good. You know, we won't win every game, but we know every game we can win. I don't care if that's the case for 5, 6, 7 years. I honestly couldn't care less. I'd love that. Just to know each year would, you know, it'd just be good. It'd just be good because even they've beat big teams this season. And then obviously, like you said, one year suddenly then you're looking and going, oh, we're in Europe here.
Yeah, we're in with a shout. We've done a Crystal
atmosphere.
Palace in FA Cup, and we're in a cup final. We could win something. We could end up
a cup final. In my lifetime, mate, I've never seen a cup final. I'd absolutely love it. An FA Cup final, a fight for Europe is literally. This is the difference between Leeds fans and others, you know, because we used to be big dogs. We used to be up there at Champions League, but kind of, I guess, my age and younger have never really experienced that, and maybe slightly older, not really as well. So we like to win things, but we're not one of them clubs who's like, if we don't win, we lose our minds. We just want to. We live in moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just want to see us do well. We want to go to Welland Road every week and enjoy the atmosphere. That's kind of what Leeds want. That's it, really, isn't it?
That's what I mean. All I care about pretty much in my whole life, Locky, is for people to around the world, as far and wide as we can get, the name Leeds. That's all. That's honestly, that's literally why I feel like I'm here. Just to be like, I'm proud of where I live. I'm proud of where my family's from. I'm proud of I really am. So when it's like, you know, my girlfriend's not bothered about footy, or my mate, one of my best mates isn't really bothered, but I'm like, Leeds have been promoted, you know, there's gonna be some mint days, and he's like, my mate's like, oh yeah, I'll come to the pub and watch it. You know what I mean? It's like, it just gets us out and about all the time, and people from America watching us and thinking these are decent Leeds. Getting random fans from around the world when you go abroad on holiday and you see a few people around pool with Leeds shirts on, you just think, what's that all about? It's mint. I just want to be really competitive. That's all I care about. Just respectful. Do you know what I mean? Like a proper respected city.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. That's it. Coming to Leeds, it's going to be tough. That every single game, the crowd's there. They're on top of them. There's not better. Just that's it for me. That's what I think. If this ownership could know one thing, obviously, they're saying we want to be in Europe. Yeah, of course, one day. But Leeds, we just want to be competitive in Prem every year. That's all we want to be. And the fans will love it. And we're not that type of club, really, that. Some fans, some of the younger ones will be, obviously, that have not really experienced the tough days, who came in when Bielsa came in, only experienced really good days, really. Whereas for me, I just want us in Prem and be competitive. I'm so happy with that. That's what I got into Leeds because of they were doing, you know, originally. So there's no better, man. This club's the best in it. Let's be honest. It's just
it is.
We don't ask for a lot.
No, we don't. That's what I mean, and that's why the core of the fan base really just want the team to work hard, don't they? Yeah. And just think, well, to be fair, they put it all out there for us, and they want to be here. And like we spoke about this before, Locky, I'm happy for players to use us and move on and stuff. I'm happy to be that, as long as they turn up with the ambition to end up like Raf or whatever, you know, thinking I could be a Ballon d'Or winner or whatever. And then they go on and they think, but it was an important time for them, for us. We all, it's like
that's it.
It's just when players turn up that don't fancy it, that does my head in.
It's like
throw a towel in when it gets a bit tough.
Yeah, and that was our problem final year, wasn't it? A lot of them even admitted it. They came for Jesse Marsh. Like what?
Yeah,
that shouldn't be happening, should it? But you're right. The perfect example is Rafinha, because he came to Leeds knowing that's going to give him the platform to hopefully go for Barcelona. But it left something with him, and that's what I want us. Players that come through Leeds, even if they stay a year, I want them in 10 years' time to go, oh, Leeds were good. I always remember my time at Leeds. Yeah. That's all I want. I'm happy with that. As long as we get them playing well and they remember us nicely or good, that's all I'm bothered about. He could be here for a year, whatever. Like even Rutter, he was here for a year and 6 months. But that year, we'll remember him. Remember that season for ages now, because it was just mint.
So, and he'll like us, like you say, he'll appreciate the whole Leeds experience, basically. Because there's nothing, I believe, there's nothing quite like it. So, and that's why if we're decent, players don't turn up. I spoke to you about this, didn't I, with Melier? But I feel bad for him, like being in, his experience now has not been good for the club. So it's like, and that represents what I think the whole city represents. Do you know what I mean? So if he's getting pelters off fans, I don't want it to seem like we're a set of dickheads to players and stuff. I like the idea of Ayling thinking he's actually really loved, and Cooper's actually really loved. Dallas is really loved. You don't have to be, and I don't mean this in the kindest way to them three, you don't have to be Hernandez or Rafinha, or you don't have to be like great to watch. Do you know what I mean? Ayling was like the main man. I loved him. Do you know what I mean? And I think the majority of the fan base did.
Yeah, and that's us, and that's why we get called sentiment. But I don't think it is sentiment. I think it's within kind of people in Leeds and around Leeds. It's caring for people that are part of what you're part of, because we're not this massive London cooperation. We're not this, so you know what I mean. We're Leeds. It's one city. It's one club. And if you have a player there that's trying to impress, it's put an arm around them and respect and say, "Cheers, mate." Even if they're not good enough at some point, say, like, yeah, probably move on. But thank you for what you did. That's just, I think, what a lot of people from kind of West Yorkshire are like. You know, they're quite caring people and they respect hard work. So, and that's what you need from players, in it. And that's what I expect. Obviously, if they're not good enough and we need some quality in there, we need to move on. But it's respect for me, mate. It's just, even if
not all of them were good enough, Locky. I'll have a laugh about players that I think are shit, but they were all good enough. And then there's obviously a time, you know, where they started to get older and the legs have gone a little bit, and there's a time for them to move on or not be at the club or whatever. But I just disagree with I think they know, though. I think really, because I think when they're out and about around town and stuff, I bet Ayling gets so much love in when he's on a night out and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I bet Cooper does and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Even Meswood. There's a lot. I see a lot of like kids that have like goalkeeper shirts with Mesley on back.
Yeah, they do love him.
Yeah, and that's what you need, and that's again what I just mentioned about we spoke about this, didn't we? When you walk through your town or something, and you all right, mate, just people you don't know, you just give them a nod. That's what we're like in Yorkshire, especially with, like West Yorkshire. That's what it's like. You just nod to people that you don't know and greet. And that's kind of what I want the players to feel. So that's the experience you want them to have at this club, innit? A nice one where they're defended and backed by their own fans.
Yes, Locky. Just have we got 15 more minutes, man? I'm conscious of time.
I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. Don't worry.
Top man, cheers, dude. You always do more than an hour, which I do appreciate. But you don't. You can just pull the plug whenever you wish. So just let me know. But I wanted to talk just briefly about Harry Maguire, because have you seen all that one that he was kicking? I can't remember exactly who we were kicking off with at end of game. Did you see it? Yeah. There's a player gone round and shook everybody's hand, and then there's something happened with Maguire. But there's two things with Maguire, because he's got a lot of stick, hasn't he, for putting, what did he put on his Instagram when we didn't go up and finally put?
I've seen it.
Yeah, great Wednesday, Sunday or whatever he
great
puts.
Wednesday or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
proper knobhead comment, and he got loads of pellets for that. But which is, he's rightly just getting it in neck for that. But I don't mind the thing at end at game, because I think there's games being played when he's going around shaking everybody's hand. I wouldn't like that either. If somebody came to my half when we're all sulking in other half, I'd be a bit like, piss off. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to help it. So I sort of resonated with him a bit with it.
Is he Yorkshireman as well? So you know what I mean? You what, mate? Oh man, you know what I mean?
Don't shake my hand. You can go around shaking their hand if you want, but
it's, and look, he plays for Man United. I think he's a Hull fan. Probably hates Leeds, but it's rivalry. He doesn't despise Leeds as in like other clubs do, abroad. It's not that. It's just he grew up. It's like me with Man United. I hated that originally because all my family were Man United fans and they'd all take mick out of me. So I grew to hate that. And then obviously I learned when I was older about history and all that stuff. But he won't despise Leeds United. It's like anyone else.
It's a bit of fun as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's having a laugh with it. But like for England, I love Harry Maguire for England. I think he's absolutely mint. He gave me some great memories. That World Cup where he just used to head them all in from corners.
Yeah,
big, absolutely.
He just get up.
And Harry Gray put a little thing, didn't he? Do you see his on Instagram?
No, I don't think so. No.
He did the same thing with a picture of Harry Maguire saying,
"Oh, did he?"
Evening or something. Yeah. He loves it, does Harry, man? That's what I mean. That's what it's about. I've had it. Look, most of my friends growing up were Man United fans or Huddersfield fans. So all I'm used to is whenever they used to beat us is just stuff like that. They don't hate me as a person. They don't look at me and go, "You're horrible. You're a Leeds fan." They just don't like Leeds, and that's how I like it.
It's all part of it. I do. It's part of it. It's fun. It's as long as it stays jovial and it doesn't turn into because there is some knobheads about equally in there, so you do have to be slightly careful. I also want to ask you, Locky, because this is going around Twitter like no tomorrow. Who's had a better season, Spurs or Arsenal?
It's hard. I'm gonna go boring political answer, but in the league, obviously Arsenal. Like you got to put it this way: as a fan going to a game, Spurs fans have been to 38 games this season in Prem and lost 20 of them. Is that a good season? Whereas Arsenal fans have not gone to 20 games and come back going, "Oh, that was horrible." So it's an hard one, but you've won a trophy. But I don't know what it's like to win trophies, really, because I'm a Leeds fan. I'm English, so I have no idea. I don't really have a clue. The only time I know really is when I used to play football. That's different because you're in it.
Get up.
But and even that weren't a lot, mate. To be fair, I was in terrible teams. What does that say about me? But I don't know. It's a hard one for me because if I'm doing it from a boring coach perspective, the memories you'll get from the Spurs season are better. They won't forget that night. And any coach, any member of staff in that team, that'll be one of the best nights of their life. It will. So from that perspective, talking about a memory that you've achieved, 100% that one. But if you're looking at a season next year and you're looking at the Premier League, and you're the director of football at Tottenham and the director of football at Arsenal, which manager's more likely to get sacked? You'd probably say the one that's in 17th, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm giving you the kind of coach answer there. As a consistent performance, a consistent performing team, which is what you want to be, 100% Arsenal. And let's not forget their competition was the Champions League, and they did quite well in it.
They did, yeah.
It's a good season, but obviously their expectations are to win that and to win the Premier League, right? Whereas Spurs' expectations were, I don't know what they were, but they've won a trophy. So it's kind of, I don't know, what do you think? I'm kind of torn between that, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree on not knowing. I'm torn on the basis that it's like you say, like as a fan, really, there's an open top bus parade coming if you win a Europa League, isn't there? But or a barbecue, which is what Man United are on about doing. But obviously they're at a different. I agree that they shouldn't treat that as a huge cup. But if you finish second in league and had a good Champions League run, I think there can be two things true at once. Arsenal are a better team, but have they had a better season than Spurs? I don't know. I think potentially Spurs, you could really argue Crystal Palace have had a better season than Arsenal this season. Do you know what I mean? Because like you say, the expectations are different. They've finally won something. Newcastle have had a brilliant year this year. Are they a better team than Arsenal? No, because Arsenal are going to finish second in league. So by definition, they're the second best team in the league, regardless of what they did in the cups. So it's an interesting one. Ashley says they can't afford a barbecue now.
It is an hard one. I think if I'm part of imagine it's Leeds, right? We've been in Prem for a few years. Say we finished season before, we finished 8th, 9th, mid-table. What would you want us to do year after? Finish 17th and win your European trophy, or finish in Champions League and get to the semi-final of it? I know it's hard because we're not, but you know what I mean. You'd want to see a trophy, wouldn't you? Because next year you are still in the league, and you've also won a trophy, and you're also in the Champions League, which is what Arsenal finished in. So you kind of still got, I don't know, but you have got to a lot of games losing and probably want to sack the manager. So.
It's a tricky one. If I had to pick, if I'm honest, even though I'm banging on about these trophies, I think I'd have to go with Arsenal. I'd want to be second in league and be like Leeds United second in the league, just because it's so far away from us, I think. Whereas I can sort of see being 17th and sneaking in Europe back door. Do you know what I mean? I can sort of see that happening. Whereas being second in league and being, getting beat to PSG in semi-finals is like, wow, we've had a good few years here, haven't we, at Leeds United?
We'd love that. Yeah, as Leeds fans, we'd love that. But that's it. That's the expectation difference. But that's why I like us. That's why I like Leeds. We have expectation, but we weren't brought up on winning trophies. We were brought up on, well, I were. I know, obviously, you and Joe and some of us are a little older, so you've seen some good stuff. But honestly,
I've seen good stuff. I've never won out either.
Yeah,
that's why I can't understand why people don't want a cup run. I cannot fathom it. I swear to God. Can't get my head around it. I'm
the
going to do
Palace
it. I
have
was
won it
going
as
to do a
well.
thing, but I'll try to get you to do it, Locky, because you'll be better at it. But
Oh, God.
to find out the difference between teams that have actually gone on a decent cup run and been relegated, because the idea is always like, oh, if you go on a cup run, you're basically relegated. You've got to focus on the league. And I'm pretty sure the teams that finish in the bottom three, and this is a guess, but the teams that finish in the bottom three will have been shit in the cup as well. It's very rare that you like, oh, we were minting cup, but we were shit in league. I know it's happened a few times. I can think of Hull, I think. They went down.
Wigan got relegated when they won FA Cup.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of, which is crazy.
Did Hull,
Playing European Championship.
Somebody got to final, didn't they? And got beat to Liverpool, and did they go down?
I can't remember.
Oh, was that Wigan that got beat? Did they win it?
Won. They won it. They beat Man City, yeah. And they got relegated. So they won. They were in Europe in Championship, I think. Crazy.
It's wild, yeah.
Would you take
I
that?
don't, no, I don't think I'd take that. I don't know. Yeah.
Imagine that'd be so Leeds that winning FA Cup but getting relegated.
Yeah, open top parade. 200,000 in relegation. All players getting like binned off and sold on.
We're in Europe next year.
Yeah, there'd be nobody on bus, would there? It'd just be Parag and Farker there, like, didn't quite happen how we wanted it, did it? But we've won summit, so fuck them. I want to ask you as well, Locky, if you've got a minute. I just want to, I'm desperate to know what you're saying on Sean Longstaff, because he gets linked all the time. I don't think we'll get Sean Longstaff, but I get so many pellets for this, and I've tried to win a few people over with it.
Yeah.
Do you think that'd be a good signing or not?
Mint.
Right.
I think it'd be an outstanding signing. But the only reason we're linked with Sean Longstaff is because they're now a Champions League team and they're buying Champions League caliber players. He's not that, or maybe he is, but maybe not at that level. But we're not there. No. In terms of a solid Premier League player, outstanding. People are forgetting, 2 or 3 years ago, Sean Longstaff were linked to everyone. Yeah, it's not quite reached what he wanted, but the floor of that is still solid Premier League player, 100%. That'd be a great signing for me, mate. Absolutely. He can score, he can get goal and assist as well. Yeah,
I know. He getting big goals. He scored in cup for him last year and stuff, like, he gets big goals as well. He's a big time player. He's a Premier League. He's had 150 appearances in Premier League overall. And he's had, I can't remember what it was, but I think it's 25 this season, and it won't be starters. But when you imagine they've got Tonali, that Guimaraes guy, and like Joe Linton, who plays a three, don't know. What a three that is, because I think Joe Linton's one of the most underrated footballers probably in the world, to be honest, because he's a monster. He's like, the transformation on him is a joke. But Longstaff's a big part of that, and he played a big part. And there was times as well over the past couple of years when people have thought he'd get pushed out. And he didn't really. He's sort of held in there. But I agree with you. He's not going to win a league with them or win a Champions League or stay second, third in league. But in terms of being a newly promoted side, to sign somebody like that is crazy to me.
That'd be a great sign.
I can't believe people don't want it. He's 27. He's played 100. Because I watched your video yesterday, Locky, of our lack of sort of Premier League experience.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well,
a huge problem, by the way. Longstaff would be a great example, but he's like better because he's got 150 appearances, but he's also done quality and he's not that old. His legs are not going. I'll just from that video, it's like in our squad right now, we have a total of, in our entire squad, that's taking away Solomon because he's not a player currently. A total of 724 Premier League games in our squad. I was comparing that to some others. Now Ipswich have just find it here. Ipswich, this is after this season, by the way. So they have 703 Premier League appearances in their team after this season. So imagine how many that was. Hardly any before. They were never staying up. They had no experience in the league. Spurs is another example I used where they had 1,400 Premier League minutes, which hint a lot. Premier League games, sorry, not minutes, which hint a lot.
You kept doing that in video because you said that in video. I keep saying minutes. Everybody knew what you were. Everybody knows where you're at.
But my point being, they had very little, but they still had their midfield 190, 180, 116 in their midfield of Premier League games. And they just won a European competition and finished 17th. What's the difference between Europe and the Prem? It's the experience of the Premier League. You can't finish 17th and in Europe. The only difference is this competition, right? It's the experience of the league. And I looked at West Ham as well, who have got 2,833 Premier League games in their squad, which is a joke. And their midfield, Souček, 192 Premier League games, and Paqueta has got 190, and then they've got Wan-Bissaka on 200, Bowen 198. Like, if you can take just one or two players who have that, you've already got double the experience Ipswich players had, Leicester players, Southampton players. And you've got players who understand the league. And you're not going to build a quality Premier League squad in one window. 100% not. So you have to bring in 20 players. But if you can just fix what's really important, and for me, that's experience. Some quality, obviously. When I say experience, I mean quality as well. They can do both.
Yeah, well, the two things, they coincide though, don't they? Because you don't play that level of games, that many games, if you're not of that quality.
Like you said, Sean Longstaff there, and Souček's one we're linked with. He's got 200 Premier League games.
You'd be mad.
So good for us. Unbelievably good. Excellent on set piece as well, by the way. A leader. 200 Premier League games and people won't take him. And he's old, but he's not that old. You know, he's still got his legs. He's still performing at a high level. It's just, we really need experience. We also need physicality as well for me. They're the two, mate, to be fair. So, yeah, experience is massive. 100%.
And your Souček's and because we linked with that Soufal as well, which you mentioned in your videos. Like he's doubling it. What minutes? I'm saying minutes now. What games did you say?
145.
Yeah, it's mad. And I mean, what did scare me, Locky, even though I found it, because at the moment I'm in this, like, I am excited because I believe we'll get some stuff done. And I think it'll be an exciting window. So that's why I'm at where I'm at. If, like you said earlier, if we get to August or whatever and there's not much happened, I'll be shitting my kegs. But as it stands, it's like, even though I found it worrying when you picked our midfield, and like Tanaka, who's probably our best player, has obviously got, and this is no fault through his own, but 0. Did you say Ampadu had about 25 or something really
26.
early on? 26, yeah. Rodon 15, did you say he had?
15. Our biggest three are Strauch on 85, Dan James 106, and Elan Mesley on 107.
Yeah.
And then Bamford 102. That's our experience. That's it.
And we can all remember that time in Prem. Because that's from recent history, innit? That's not from like dragging a player in from the Prem last year. Do you know what I mean? That we'll be going up with them. It's like that's when we was in the Prem. Obviously, Dan James got some at Man U, didn't he, and stuff. And that'll be really important for us next year. I don't want to bring Bamford up because I get pellets for it. But, you know, if he's on bench and he don't want to leave and he's happy to be, you know, 100 appearances in Prem will go a long way for just in general, whoever we're bringing in. Because Peru's got none. You know, it's quite scary.
That's again, Joseph's got 3, Peru none. That's our strikers. Obviously Bamford as well, 102. But how much will he play? Our wingers, Dan James is our only one. Nonto's got 24. Ramazani none. Like Solomon's not here at the moment. Our midfield, by the way, now we've lost Gilavoge and Rothwell. Our only midfielder with experience in the Prem is Ampadu, and that's 26. Gruev's got none. Tanaka's got none. You telling me adding Sean Longstaff in there 150 ain't going to change anything. We all love Ampadu to bits, right? He's only got 26. Sean Longstaff has 150. These are good players.
They just are, man. I can't. I
top league in the world, by the way. Top league in the world as well. This is Premier League.
Yeah. And so hard. And when you and like to just bang on about my man Sean Longstaff, and we're not going to get. But
probably not.
The competition at that club, if you even have a whiff of being like poor for a few games, he's going to be nowhere near it. And I've had comments saying like, oh, you know, even his own don't want him at the club and stuff. And then to be fair, thank God, yesterday a couple of Newcastle fans popped into, you know, randomly when you put one of their players on. And he just said, no, we love him. Like there's some comments about that we don't like we love him, but just possibly outgrown him a little bit. He'll be amazing for you. Like, he'd be fucking amazing. I mean, Souček, for instance, was like, it were him and Rice. It was Souček that had the license to go, wasn't it? It were Rice that were holding. Souček were bombing on, 3 years ago.
It'd be an unbelievable signing. Souček would be like, this is it. This is the problem with some people on Twitter, certain people. They only like fancy names and young players who can do step overs. That's mint. I love them players too. They're my favourite players. But we don't need 10 of them. We need 2 or 3. And the rest of them need to be horrible, hard, big, strong, experienced. That's what we need right now. It's like what I said earlier with manager. In a few years, that might change. But right now, we need them players, 100%. So that's what we need to bring in for a big part.
Yeah. And somebody asked if you'd take Milner. But we did Milner, didn't we, the other week when I had you 100%. On? But that's the same thing, innit? Would you take Milner back? There it is.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you had his Premier League experience, his games in the Premier League, by the way, are more than our entire 11 put together, I think. Our entire 16. He has more than our entire squad, I believe, put together.
Well, fucking hell, that is some...
Oh, it's around the same, I think.
Well, it will be. I mean, he's played in Prem his entire career, isn't he? Which is
he's not
rare.
What we say, well, I know obviously we've done this. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but he won't be a starter. He'd be a squad player. If you need him, you can play him. He's there because of his experience, which is an absolute joke. That's why he's in the squad. That's why he'd be there. But if you need him, if the others aren't doing it, or he needs some leadership out there, there's no one better.
And like I said on Joe's of the week, and like we are going back over it, but he'd probably use him more than we wanted to. And then by end of the season, you'd go, well, to be fair, 12 games that really needed him for a good 45 minutes, or to start the odd game and get us if it's gone a bit tits up over the past 4 weeks or whatever. Exactly. But I just want to address this, Joe. Called you Joe. Sorry, Locky. Just because the players haven't played in the Premiership doesn't mean they won't be any good. But that's not what we're saying, is it?
No, that's the different player.
Ampadu could be the absolute boyo. Tanaka could be the best Premier League midfielder,
But we know Souček can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I was just looking. Milner has 637 appearances in the league. Our entire 16 is 700.
Yeah, wild.
But no, we're not saying like they can. Yeah, maybe they could, but you'd rather have someone in there with them, helping them out, who 100% can. And then, like I said,
Souček, Soufal, and Sean Longstaff, my man, are guaranteed to be Premier League standard.
Yeah,
it's a guarantee. There's no in between. They will not get there and be like even remotely a risk. And because I'd bring like Soufal in with every intention of playing Bogle. Yeah. I'd still want Bogle to be our right back, and he's got no. We're not necessarily on about replacements here. And then you bring some fun in from around Europe and like players that you're going to find for us this summer, Locky. And then we bring them in, and then it's like, it all hopefully comes together. But I don't just want to go out and risk a load of stuff when you could potentially pick up people on frees like Soufal. And I mean, they're talking about 12 million for Longstaff. You don't know whether it's just a load of woof, but ultimately they will need to get rid of players, Newcastle, and he's only got a year left on his contract, and he'll be on PSR full whack. Well, it'll be 100%. I think Longstaff's been there forever, hasn't he? So that they might, and they probably won't rid. So I just don't think he'll come to us.
Nah, it'd be tough. That's it. Some people won't have him. I think he'll go higher than us. This is the crazy thing.
I do.
But it's what the biggest thing as well is training the standard. That's how you get the best out of every player. If you're bringing, like Hertzler, the manager of Brighton, literally said in an interview this season about Milner, he said he still sets the standard. He sets the standard at training, whether he's involved or not. He's there. He'll set the standard. At his age, he's still showing everyone how to do it. If you've got Souček, Longstaff, they're setting the standard for Ampadu, Tanaka, who've hardly played at this level. Ampadu was 19 when he last played in the Premier League. 19. Different player, different man, different person. Literally a man now who's a kid then. You're bringing in players who have played here over 200, 300 times, 150.
And that'll bring him up a level. Because Ampadu, you can't tell me that won't be in back of his head. There's a bit of, I'm not going to say worry, because they'll believe in their own ability, but there'd be a little bit in back of your head like, I've got to get this right, I've got to step up. But if you get to pre-season training and Longstaff and Souček are there. It's training that you have to step up in. It's not the first game of the season. It's like training. I've got to, because they're coming into play, them two. So you'd be like, I've lost my place here. I'm captain. I can't have this. And then Ampadu has to go, no, I'm the young lad round here and I own this gaff. Do you know what I mean? And he has to step up in training. It sets the standards.
That's the standard. And Souček's coming in, or whoever it is, it could be anyone, but they're coming in going, I play in this league. I play in this league for 5 years.
Who are you?
You've just come from Championship.
Yeah.
You played Championship for 2 years. I'm going to set this standard. You've got to do better than me.
Yeah, you'll be playing with me, lad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need all over. We need that in attack. I love Perot a bit. He's an unbelievable finisher. But there needs to be an horrible, horrible player that comes in there who's big, physical, and shows him what he needs to do to be physical. He's got to show him, look, you're in Prem now, mate. They're going to batter you, these defenders. You've got to give it back.
Yeah.
And then in training, he's got to be horrible to him. You know what I mean? He's got to understand that. Even Aronson, whatever happens with him, he's got to find a way to be competitive. Our wingers, I love them. Ramazani, Nonto, James, Mint. James knows, obviously, he's had experience, but the others don't really. You know, Nonto played a little bit, but he didn't play loads. Ramazani's never done it. If you don't bring Solomon back in, you've got to bring in a winger who's either ridiculously good from Europe, who can set a standard in terms of how good he is on the ball, or someone that's played in this league. It's same everywhere, mate. You know what I mean? This is you go to training, and suddenly these guys who play 203 games in the league you're in, they're not going to go, oh yeah, hi, mate, my name's They're going to go, right, I'm starting, and you've got to take that off me. You're a Championship player. I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
And you know who I am. I've walked in the door like that. You know who I am. Like you've been watching me all year, mate, because I've been playing week in, week out in the best league in the world. Like, I'm no joke.
I've won European trophies. I've won this. I've won that.
Yeah.
You've won Championship. We're at Prem now. This is it. It's big boy stuff now. This is it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's why it's exciting. Providing, you know, we're naming all these players, and you know, we'll probably end up in. You'll have to release that if we'd have stayed in Championship video. Probably just end up signing all them, and we'll be like this, like, oh shit. It's like, but we will. I do believe. You know, I really do believe we'll get some mint players in. And then just for a bit of joy, Modric is leaving, isn't he? So I know is he too old, but you know he's got the experience, doesn't he? So.
Oh man, imagine Tanaka turning up to training or something, and Modric is just stood there,
just going in for physical. Like Modric is here, and like, what the fuck is going on here? Be interested to see what he does. Though. Do you reckon he'll just get a big money move somewhere?
Maybe he might.
Saudi.
Has he said if he's retiring or all?
I just saw it on thing. It just popped up earlier saying that he's you know, when it says set to leave.
All right.
It just said Modric set to leave Real Madrid at end of season. So,
well, it's weird with him because you'd assume. I'm not talking about Leeds, by the way. If the team at Prem wants him, you think, oh, maybe he's not. Thiago Silva was 38 at Chelsea.
Well,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Since he's gone,
Modric is kind of timeless. He's like Pirlo, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not involved in game. He's playing his own little game, isn't he? Like nobody's battering him, or he just finds them perfect pockets, and he's unbelievably intelligent.
Yeah. What a player though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Longevity every year for
career he's had. I know he was mint at Tottenham, but nobody could have expected that really of him. No, or I didn't anyway. I didn't think he'd go on to be like a warlord. Has he won Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he was great. He did.
It was controversial, I'll admit, but he still won it, hasn't he? So, what a player he is. Honestly, good player, Modric.
Do you remember when Middlesbrough, you might be too young to remember when Middlesbrough used to get all oldies?
Yeah,
they used to get all, not on mental that, but I mean, it's a different day now, but they'd get all like Mendieta and stuff came to play. It's like, what the fuck, Janino and stuff. It's like, who did they know in Middlesbrough? Why are all these lot turning up? That Ravioli guy, obviously not called Ravioli, but he's got a name like that. My brother used to love him, but he were a bit older. I can't remember. He centre forward. He were mint. Some people know in comments, but
yeah, they did. Used to get them all, didn't they? All old guys. That lad from I'm not going to say his name because it sounds bad. But the guy they got from Man City, the striker who bagged goals from. Yeah, there was loads, mate. They used to love it. Was it? Ravanoli, yeah. A few others, yeah, they used to love it. I don't want us to do that. I don't want us to be that.
No, I don't want to do that.
I mean,
that's not what I'm advocating for. Though.
What's Ronaldinho doing? Is he still got a few minutes in?
I don't know. Did you see him in that charity match?
Yeah, I did.
He looked all right to me. He looked like he still had a bit.
He was the one for me, man. He was mint, man. Growing up, he was one. I used to get headbanding. I think I were him because
yeah.
I had his boots. He brought his personal brand of boots out. His Nike ones. I used to wear them, man. Yeah. He didn't have to train. That's how good he was. He didn't train. He just turn up. One of them, just turn up and be best player on pitch. How good at football do you have to be to do that?
I know, at the most insane level. Well, to be the best player in the world and not really be that fussed about it.
But not even that. The fact that coaches, they didn't even tell him off. Because I can't remember, someone said it I listened to a pod a few months ago and someone mentioned about it. I can't remember who it was. I think it was an English coach who worked with him somewhere. I can't remember. But they said he'd literally go out night before. He'd get back at 5, 6 a.m. He'd come in still part drunk. But the manager got told before he joined the club, leave him because he'll win you the league. Like, they just let him do it. And the players knew that. The players weren't bothered because that was him. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like for to get away with it with players is mental, really. I used to have some gold lotto boots when I was really young. Awful. In looking back, absolutely terrible. But they were only coloured ones I ever had because I'm a black boot man for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I used to like Hasselbanks used to have like just jet black Nike ones. I used to love them. And then they'd have like a white bottom. And but obviously we're rapid as well. And just watch him set off and you just see these flickers at white bottoms. It was so I used to love Hasselbank back in the day. I know that all went a bit sour, like, but
yeah, that's going to be a charity game as well. It's no training, just turn up, boss it.
We're pushing for this session, but it's nobody can sit down for a day. I don't think. But
I've got dentist 2 days before, and I'm having a few extractions, so I'm not really sure if I can. But if I can, I'll turn up. I'm not bothered. Football, innit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, it's where they're on about. It's pretty much round corner from me, to be fair.
Is it?
So I've got no excuse. It really would be a bad show. I was going to put it in group. You know, I'm actually around corner, but I thought if I put that and don't turn up, you know, nobody's going to talk to me. I don't think so. I didn't.
We need to get it going. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Joe's
but yes, Locky.
Skin Joe 2 or 3 times at training.
Yeah, well, to be honest, ain't game. I'm going to try wind Joe up a bit. Honestly, if they have a corner or something, I'm going to get hold of him and I am going to wind him up when he's not looking. I'm going to do stuff and he'd be like, who is that? Who is it? Because he will not assume it's somebody on his team. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, me. Loving it.
Oh, it's going to be
But yes, Locky, do you have any vids planned? Obviously, the scouting reports will be soon on Joe's, won't they? But you'll be doing similar things on yours as well.
Yeah, we'll be doing it on Joe's. Joe wants us to do them now, but me and Andrea are being stubborn, so it's probably going to be. It won't be long. It'll be near end of this month, I reckon. Start at next. It won't be long. Be a week or 2 max. So Joe can relax. Don't worry. But yeah, I'll be doing it on mine as well. But that'll be obviously on Joe's. Me and Andrea go through some names. Some players we like who could fit Leeds. We do positions. I'll be doing it on mine, but I'll be doing obviously showing all my lists and all that. So they'll be coming in next few weeks. I'm just finishing them off, to be fair. Trying to find which ones I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll be coming up. I've not got a plan for the next few days, but there might be some. Honestly, I just think of something and do it. Me, I can't plan. I'm terrible.
No, so. Yeah, and it's best way. Yeah. No, do go over and check Locky Leeds out. I should put the link. Sorry, dude. I've never put the link in.
It's all right.
Description. That's genuinely not I've just thought, why don't I put the link in the description at the very least? But I'm not the best. Well, I'm not the best YouTuber in the world, I suppose. So I'm not at that level. But I will do that. I will put the link in the description, guys. That is a promise. But do go over and check him out. Most, like I say every time, Locky, but most people that watch me will be watching you anyway. But it's worth saying that your videos are top notch, and it is very well worth going over and watching them. So do that. But yeah, I'll be going live as well, guys, for in about 10 minutes for half an hour or so, and just chat some shit and that, and we'll yeah. But thanks for coming on, Locky, once again. You're the top man.
Always enjoy it. Always love it on here, Jack. Just have a chat. It's mint.
Cheers, man.
It's all right.
Take it easy,
See you later,
everybody.
everyone.
Speak to you soon. Peace.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.